They've proven is you don't need to have 2 billion users like Facebook. You don't need to be at that scale in order to keep those users engaged. So advertisers clearly see, wow, this engaged, somewhat smaller audience is actually very monetizable, and they can really show ads to them a lot better than they could in this big ocean of Facebook. And that's what Twitter proved with, only 130-ish million daily users, similar users on Snap, and we're going to see that later after the bell. And that's what they're proving. They're proving that we can monetize a smaller pool of users.
Yes, that you can, Julia, you can be niche. And we heard this with Aswath Damodaran about Pinterest earlier today. He said, look, I can see a viable business model there in the long run, even if they're a niche player, because an ad-supported model is one that usually works.
Yeah, I think the key thing here is that engagement is the name of the game. Engagement is a term that Steve just used several times there, because this is really what the shift to talking about daily active users is about. These aren't just people who check Twitter once a month. These are people who are there every single day. They're really paying attention, and that's the audience that's so valuable for advertisers. And I do think that, we've seen Facebook be so successful, even in the wake of all of their scandals, when it comes to their quarterly numbers. And we'll see what happens when Facebook reports tomorrow. But there's been a lot of questions, sort of who could steal share from Facebook, or who could thrive as Facebook is facing all the scrutiny. And I think what we've seen here is that Twitter is really executing on these different issues that they've committed to, such as the health of the platform, and it seems to be working.
So, Steve, what about the backlash, the techlash that we speak about? Look, I myself got off these platforms a couple of years ago. So why is it that, or does it matter, if there's enough of a segment of the population that enjoys these platforms, finds value in them, engages with them every day? Again, do they need to show that that daily user growth is kind of going parabolic, or is it enough to show, hey, it's steady enough, our core user base is engaged, we're not worried about the scale of Facebook?
No, it absolutely matters, Kelly, because Jack, the first thing he said on the earnings call today was, I'm focused on the health and safety of the platform. He said what happens online can affect people, or happens online can affect people offline. And that's what they're really focused on, and they know it's a problem. This has been a problem since the Dick Costolo era, and it's taken until the last year or two for them to really take that problem seriously. There's a ton of work to do. They've made progress, sure, but they're clearly not there yet. Just last week, Representative Ilhan Omar of BuzzFeed reported that she was getting death threats still, and those death threats were still up on Twitter. So they clearly have a lot more work to do.
All right. And for investors, they'll say, great, Steve, that means the stock can still run. Guys, thank you both. Appreciate it. Steve Kovach and our Julia Boorstin.